I'm Davey. I'm awesome. And welcome to Davy's Awesome Wrestling, where I review wrestling-related things, all from the perspective of a fan, not an insider. And this week, we had Impact Wrestling, Bound for Glory 2023. Impact Wrestling's biggest event of the year. Let's get into it. The opening match, as seems to be the case with almost every Impact show, for the X Division Championship, between champion Chris Sabin and Kenta. Now, in typical X Division fashion, there is no rivalry between these two. It was just like, hey, these two are great wrestlers, let's see what they can do. Which, I will say in this case, I was a little excited, because Kenta versus Chris Sabin, but still. Why do they go so long without rivalries for the X Division Championship? And the match was good, but like in typical X Division Championship matches, it was lacking drama and storytelling. It was basically just two guys going, look what I can do. And it ended with Chris Sabin getting the cradle shock onto Kenta, getting the pin, and retaining his X Division Championship. But like I said, even though it was lacking in drama and storytelling, and obviously there was no real rivalry between these two, it was just another, like, hey, we're going to put this together because it'll be cool, it still did easily earn its 3 out of 5. Second match, a 4-way Monsters Ball match. In case you don't know, Monsters Ball is a hardcore weapons match, but 24 hours before the match, the competitors are locked in a dark room with no food or water. And this one had Rhino versus Steve Macklin versus Moose versus PCO. Although, during Rhino's entrance, Macklin came out and attacked him, so the match got started very quickly. And, of course, it's a Monsters Ball match. It's brutal. It's hardcore. There's brutal moments like Moose powerbombing PCO into a bunch of thumbtacks on a bed of cinder blocks. Ugh. Not to mention, they were continuing a story as Steve Macklin and Bully Ray have been going back and forth for a couple weeks. Macklin saying that Bully Ray has gone soft. So Bully Ray came out during this match just to toss Macklin through a barbed wire table. Meaning, obviously, these two are not done. And it ended with PCO getting the pin over Moose. So like I said, this was really good. It was really brutal. But for a Monsters Ball match, it was kind of pointless. And in my opinion, the Monsters Ball needs to be either the blow-off to a rivalry or a title match, or at least for a title shot, but it was just, hey, this will be cool. Impact does a little bit too much, in my opinion. But it was cool. I'll give it a 4 out of 5. Yeah! And then for the Impact Tag Team Championships, ABC cashed in their Feast or Fired on the Rascals. There was no chance it wasn't going to be good. I mean, it's these two teams. They always put on a good match. And I will say the ending was poetic, as the Rascals have been winning every match by taking the spray paint cans and spraying their opponents in the eyes. Trey Miguel was holding Ace Austin. Zachary Wentz went to spray him in the eyes. Ace Austin got out of the way, so he sprayed Trey Miguel in the eyes, leaving Zachary Wentz alone as ABC double-teamed him and got the pin, the win, and became the new Impact Tag Team Champions. Like I said, when it's these two teams, you know it's going to be great, and it was. This was an actual rivalry that had actually been built up and actually had some drama in the match. So I'm going to give this one a 4 out of 5. And then a special dream match, for some people I guess, Mike Bailey versus Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay was in the match, so of course it was really good. It was hard-hitting, there's a lot of back and forth. Obviously these two wore each other out. Like, I'll give it to both of them, they wrestled a hard match. And then after several attempts, Will Ospreay got the Stormbreaker onto Mike Bailey, got the pin, and the win. It was really good, but my criticism is they were building this up like Will Ospreay versus Kenny Omega or Chris Jericho. That's happened recently in AEW. No. I know Mike Bailey's got a following, but in my opinion, personally, I've never seen something from Mike Bailey that was super impressive. In my opinion, he's good, but he's mostly just hype. But then again, it was Will Ospreay in it, and he can have a great match with a broom. So I will still say I was entertained enough to give it a 4 out of 5. Yeah! And then what has become a tradition for Bound for Glory, the Call Your Shot Gauntlet, where it's 20 competitors, 2 start every couple of minutes, another one comes in, eliminating each other by throwing them over the top rope. And then when it gets down to the last 2 competitors, it ends with a pin or submission. In this year's Call Your Shot Gauntlet, in the order they came out, Jake Something, Eddie Edwards, Kenny King, surprise entrant, Juventud Guerrera, Johnny Swinger, Giselle Shaw, Jody Threat, Bully Ray, Kylan King, another surprise entrant, Sunny Kiss, followed by another surprise entrant, Matt Cardona, Jordan Grace, Eric Young, Joe Hendry, who I believe in, Brian Myers, Heath, Frankie Kazarian, Rich Swann, Jonathan Gresham, and Dirty Dongo. And it came down to the final two were Bully Ray versus Jordan Grace, which of course made it to where I didn't know who was going to win. I didn't know if they were going to go the route of letting a woman win it for the first time in Jordan Grace, or if they were going to let Bully Ray be a two-time winner, since he won last year. And it ended with Jordan Grace getting the Grace driver onto Bully Ray, getting the pin, and being the first female to win the Call Your Shot gauntlet. And she didn't waste any time. She called her shot right after she won the match, saying that she will challenge for the Knockouts Championship at Hard to Kill. The Call Your Shot gauntlet is a lot like the Royal Rumble. Unless it's a bad winner, it always gets a 5 out of 5. Yee! Then for the Knockouts Championship, Mickie James challenges champion Trinity. This match was good. It was competitive. We didn't know who was going to win. But ultimately, it was a letdown. I honestly just expected a lot more out of this, especially with the fact that they were kind of hyping it up of, these two were in WWE together and they never got to wrestle each other. Mainly because in WWE, Trinity was ridiculously underutilized. But we were finally getting to see these two wrestle, and for the most part, it was just okay. Maybe if it hadn't been so hyped up, I would have been a little less disappointed, but it was just a good match, but nothing really special in it. And then when Trinity got the Starstruck onto Mickie James and got her to tap out, so that she retains her Knockouts Women's Championship. And then, of course, after the match, these two are still friends, still hugging. Honestly, like I said, I was just expecting more out of it, but very easily got its 3 out of 5. Yeah! And then the main event for the Impact World Championship, Josh Alexander challenges Alex Shelley. It was a really good match, like their previous match. Very hard-hitting, a lot of back and forth, a lot of drama. These two are masters at their craft. And even the drama of how it ended. These two were both going back and forth, reversing each other's finishers. They were trying desperately to get it on them, until finally Alex Shelley got the shell shock on Josh Alexander, but you could tell that Josh Alexander was not put out, just slowed down. But slowed down long enough for Alex Shelley to get another shell shock onto him and get the pin, retaining his Impact World Championship, which I did not expect. I honestly thought they were just going to give it back to Josh Alexander because that's the one they're hyping as their poster boy. But no, not only did he lose, but he lost clean. And I like that they did that, to show that Alex Shelley is in a spot he deserves, that he's not just a filler champion. And of course afterwards, Josh Alexander gave him the respect. So that's nice, but honestly I was kind of hoping that he was going to turn after the match, but he didn't. Josh Alexander is still their top guy, but Alex Shelley is still the champion. And I would give this a 4 out of 5. Yay! But then to close the show, just for the last couple of minutes, they had to make a little announcement that as of Hard to Kill on January 13th, Impact Wrestling will go back to being Total Nonstop Action, TNA. So Impact Wrestling's Bound for Glory 2023 overall, it was pretty good. Better than I expected it was going to be. But there were things I did expect. For example, most of the matches, there was no real rivalry to it. It was just like, hey, we're going to put these two together and it's kind of cool. I don't mind that once in a while, but Impact does that a little bit too much. They need to stop with the hyped up marquee matches and just start building up some rivalries that get us invested. Matches we want to see because these two have been rivaling for a while and we want to see how it ends. Not matches we want to see because, hey, here's a cool guy from over here and here's a cool guy from over there that've got a lot of internet hype and we're going to have them fight each other. They rely way too much on that stuff. They also rely way too much on, hey, I'm a good guy and you're a good guy and we're friends, but we're going to go out there and have a competitive match. They need to get back to more of, I hate you, you hate me, and we're going to have a match because we hate each other. But ultimately it had several 4s. It only had 1 5, and that was the Call Your Shot gauntlet. But it was a great gauntlet. And even the other matches were 3s. It didn't have any bad matches on the card. And with the announcement at the end of it that they're going back to being TNA, I actually really like that. I've never been a big fan of the name Impact Wrestling. Call me old school, but I like the 3 letters in your name. It's just something about it. It's easier to get behind. It's easier to chant. Nobody chants Impact Wrestling. They would chant TNA. Just like they chant AEW or ROH, or they used to chant ECW. There's just a nice ring to it. And I like that they're going back to their roots. I honestly never felt like they should have changed their name from TNA to Impact Wrestling. So good for them. And hopefully they'll also get some new titles, because I've never been a big fan of these titles. The World Championship is the only one I think is okay looking. But overall, the event itself, Impact Wrestling's Bound for Glory 2023, I would actually give this one a 4 out of 5. Yay! So there you have it. That's my wrestling review this week. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, make sure to hit like, hit subscribe, hit the little bell so you get notifications for when I post the videos, and leave a comment. Tell me what you thought of Impact Wrestling's Bound for Glory 2023. Tell me if you're happy they're going back to being TNA. Love you guys.